Uh, Morning, guys. Speaking to Fuyo Matolo. I'm currently assisting a few students in quantity surveying. Um, so it's first years, some second years, and some third years. But I felt I should do a video um, just to give my observation on what might be challenges that are causing students maybe to struggle in quantity surveying. What I think most likely sorry, um, what I think is the likely problem that affects many students in quantity surveying. I think it's the lack of understanding the principles of construction. So I think many students might not appreciate how important it is to um, to study and develop yourself in the sphere of construction technology, because it's going to be very difficult for you to measure uh, and do taking of quantities in a structure that you are not aware how it's built. Like if you give in a reservoir, for instance, they say measure, do quantities for a reservoir, and you've never seen how a reservoir is constructed, you are really gonna struggle to do taking off with something you're not familiar with. So I think that's where construction technology comes in and fills that void and remedies that situation. So guys, please take construction technology module very serious, because that is the module that teaches you how a certain item of work is constructed. Because if you want to do quantity surveying, do taking off, if you cannot imagine how any item of work is done, struggle to you're gonna struggle to measure it. In fact, it's gonna be nearly impossible for you to measure it without having someone assisting you in essence. So very important. If you can construct something, then you can measure something. So, for instance, site clearance, guys. If you've seen a site being cleared, it's easier for you to conceptualize when you're given a drawing and you are told do a site clearance on this, And I feel that you guys might be underutilizing your access to YouTube and your data. So maybe you should, before maybe you measure an item of work that you uncertain of, just go on YouTube and view how it's done physically on site. That will give you a better understanding of the item of work you want to measure. So I think, really start using your data, efficiently and to your benefit. Don't just watch movies and. So I think that's the main reason you guys are struggling, is just that maybe you don't have like imagination to conceptualize what you are being given, because a black and white drawing, you might not get a visual of what you are supposed to do on site. And thing is, when you are QS, you need to describe to the contractor exactly what you want him to be doing on site. in every item of work. So the role of the QS now, you have to interpret what the architect is conveying to the contractor in his drawings, that this is what you do, this is what you do. And there should be no ambiguity that you are saying he must do something else instead of something else. So guys, before doing a measurement, please just first, look at the drawing, see what you are being asked to do. Go on YouTube, just type out, the question on YouTube, see what results you're gonna, get. Watch some construction videos on how houses are built, how a site is established, how site clearance is done. By the time you finish that video, you'll have a better concept of what item of work you are being asked to measure. And then from the experience you will get from watching a video, do a measuring list. What items of work do you need to measure in this drawing, the drawing you're given, so that you can check off and see if you haven't skipped a step or you haven't missed out something, And there's another thing that we try to avoid in quantity surveying. It's over measurement or under measurement, overpricing and underpricing. Those two you need to mitigate, need to control those two. So for instance, you can measure something net, They say, okay, no, do site clearance in this building. You can measure it net, but remember, if it's a complicated structure, it's not your simple rectangular or square building, then you might have to partition it into known shapes before you measure. Then there might be overlaps where you have measured a certain area under a certain partition. So you're gonna give them names, you're gonna partition the site layout into known shapes, then calculate the areas independently. But if one overlaps to another, then you need to do a deduct for that. So those concepts, when it plays out in the actual works being done on site, if you use just your practical mind, if you've excavated in this area or cleared this area, you can't remeasure it again and clear it again, So try to avoid where maybe two parts of a building are, overlapping. If you have measured that area, don't repeat it, just deduct it, or you can measure both, but deduct where it overlaps each other. That's the same concept that we talk about when we say deduct your T's when your two walls are meeting. You don't want to have to put in extra soil that has already been excavated in another section where you were taking off in your drawings. So please read your standard system. That's your guide. That is your guide on letting you know what is expected in terms of your wording, what you include in your descriptions. The unit of measurement is important. What is deemed to be included, or any additional information or special conditions are there. So read the standard system, guys. If you don't understand something, go on YouTube also, research. Feel free to ask questions also on the comment section. If I can answer them, I'll do that. But yeah, you've got that book called How To. Read that book. But I think before you attempt something, just do some research before, and then read your standard system and try to develop a measuring list. Guys, keep well. Hope you're all safe. Please subscribe to the channel. Yeah. So yeah, if you've got any questions, you can just type in there in the comment section.